Hi, welcome to Bonita's Kitchen and thank you for joining us. What I'm going to be making for you today is Partridgeberry Nut Loaf. Partridgeberries, for those of you that's not familiar with that berry, is a berry that we pick in late fall in Newfoundland, usually late September, early October, and they're fully ripe. Today I'm going to pull some of them from my freezer because it's time for me to get ready and use up those to get ready for new ones for this year. Now I'll tell you the ingredients that we'll be using in our Partridgeberry Nut Loaf today. We're going to be using 3 cups of flour, 3 eggs. We're going to be using some vanilla, condensed milk. We use Carnation Milk in Newfoundland, a cup of sugar. We're going to be using a cup and a half of butter. You can use salted or unsalted. A baking powder, a cup of Partridgeberries, which mine is frozen right now, half a cup of walnuts, and let's get started. Okay, we're going to start with adding in a cup and a half of room temperature butter and 1 cup of white sugar. If you want to use a different sort of sugar, you can. That's quite okay. Alright then, so we're going to mix this together. So keep stirring it together until it's all creamed. Now we're going to be adding in 1 egg at a time to this, and that way you can gradually mix it in there. So just break the yolk and then mix it in until it's all incorporated. So we'll mix in number 2. And now I'm going to go get my number 3 egg and get them all mixed in. So that's the number 3 egg in there. So now we're going to put a teaspoonful and a half of vanilla. Mix that in there. Okay, so what we're going to do now, we're going to sift in our 3 cups of flour. But just leave just a small little amount of flour. I'm going to show you here now. Just about this much, maybe a 1/4 cup, because we want to add our partridge berries into that to mix it so they don't sink to the bottom. And we're going to have 1½ teaspoonfuls of baking powder. And let's sift all of this now into our mixture. And then that's the rest of that. So we'll just move this to the side. And now we're going to take our partridge berries and we're going to put it into the flour. Now these are frozen. You don't have to wait until they thaw. You could if you want to, but basically they're fine because they don't give off a lot of juice. So just coat them with flour. And now I'll add that to our mixture in a moment. I just want to mix some of the flour through. So just fold it together like this until all the flour starts to work into your butter and sugar mixture. Okay, we're going to add the partridge berries. I'm going to use in a cup, but if you want to use more, that is fine. And we're going to be using ½ cup of walnuts. Okay, so now we're going to start mixing this all together. And when I get it where it's starting to fold nicely, I'm going to start adding in our condensed milk, which in Newfoundland we use the Carnation. You can use a no-name, it's fine. But condensed milk is perfect for this because it makes it nice and creamy. So now we're going to add in our cup of room temperature condensed milk. And now you're going to fold this as well into your mixture. Keep doing it until it's nice and creamy. So just continue folding it until it's nice and creamy. This is a great way to get rid of your frozen berries, and of course you can do this with your blueberries as well, because you get to the point once the winter is on us, you don't know what to be making with your partridgeberries, so this is a great way to do it. Those loaves are very delicious. Okay, so now we got our batter ready to go. We're going to get our loaf pan ready. Now you can just grease your pan lightly with a spray or butter, or you can use parchment paper. Now I like using parchment paper because then you can just lift it out and then you can just take it from there. So whichever way you like to do it, that's fine. So just cover your pan like this with the parchment paper, and then you're going to put all of your batter into this little pan. Now you could make 2 loaves out of this if you want to, or if you got a big loaf pan, you can put it all into one, and that's entirely up to you. I got a couple of little loaf pans there that is nice to make separate ones, because you might want to give one as a gift to somebody. So just scrape it all into the pan and then spread it around. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to cut any extra parchment paper that's around the sides of this. You don't need that hanging all over. You could leave it on, it's optional, but I'm just going to cut it off. And now what I'm going to do, I'm going to top our loaf cake, or our loaf, Partridgeberry Nut Loaf, with some more nuts. So these are crushed walnuts, so you could put as much over it as you want. I'm just going to sprinkle equal amounts, and it looks something like this. So what we're going to do now is put this Partridgeberry Nut Loaf in a preheated oven of 350 degrees for 45 to 1 hour, 45 minutes to 1 hour. So at the 45-minute part, check your loaf. If it feels like to you it's done by poking it with a toothpick or a knife. If it's not done, leave it for another 15 minutes. So I'm going to put mine into the oven, but while I'm waiting for the loaf to bake, I'm going to show you how to make a lemon glaze to go over the top of your loaf when it comes out. So this is just a simple little glaze that we're going to do, just to top over your Partridgeberry Nut Loaf when it comes out. It's about ½ cup of icing sugar powder, maybe a tablespoonful of water. You can use cream or milk if you want to. I'm going to be using lemon and lemon zest, and about ½ tablespoonful of butter. Okay, I added my ½ tablespoonful of butter and ½ cup of powdered icing sugar. So you just mix all that together, and then we're going to be putting in a tablespoonful of water. If you want to use milk or cream, that's fine, but I'm just going to use water in this one. And I'm going to be using a nice squirt, probably about a teaspoonful of lemon juice, and I want just a few grates of lemon zest. You can just eyeball this. You don't, like I said, there's no measurements to this. This is just mainly a little glaze that we're gonna, a lemon citrus glaze that we're gonna be putting over the top of our loaf when it comes out, just to make it nice and tasty. So just mix this together like this. Okay, so it's just going to look something like this. So I'm just going to put this aside now while I'm waiting for my Partridgeberry loaf to come out. 350 degrees of heat for 45 minutes to 1 hour, and check it at the 45-minute point. So meet me back here when it's done. Welcome back to Bonita's Kitchen, and thank you for joining us. I just want to make a correction first on one of the ingredients that I had said condensed milk. It's actually evaporated milk, Carnation Milk, no name. But we'll continue on with our Partridgeberry Nut Loaf. Please accept my apologies. Hopefully you haven't started making yours. Okay, so our loaf is done, so let's get ready to look at it. Okay, so now I'm going to attempt to take mine out of the pan because we got nuts on the top. I don't want to flip it out to have it go everywhere. So what I'm going to do is try to take this out with the parchment paper. That's the glory of having the parchment paper there instead of the butter. you can just remove it with the parchment paper. So this is what it's going to look like. Smells absolutely amazing in here. I know you've probably heard me say this before. I wish I had a scratch and sniff on my computer so that you guys can smell it as well. So just glaze over the top. Pour all of your glaze over. Now if you don't want to do it like this, you can leave it in a little jar and have it for people to put on their individual piece, and that's fine too. So that's what it's going to look like. Now what I'm going to again attempt, it's nice to let it cool. You don't necessarily have to wait until it's cool, but it'd be good if you could. I'm going to cut it down the middle so you can see what it looks like inside. Okay, so wow, look at this. This is what it looks like on the inside. So now I'm going to put it on my plate and cut off a slice. So I'm going to attempt now to cut another slice so as you can see what it looks like. Also, so this is frozen partridgeberry, so you can imagine what it would be like if it was fresh. So this is what it like. It's absolutely delicious looking, and I can't wait to get a cup of tea to have it, a little piece. So just an extra little bit of glaze over each piece if you got some there, and that's what you're going to have. Absolutely delicious. So this is our Partridgeberry Nut Loaf made with frozen partridgeberries, and again you can make it with fresh partridgeberries. And I'd like to once more apologize for the error of saying condensed milk instead of evaporated milk. Again, hopefully you haven't started yours yet. Also, I hope you found this episode of Partridgeberry Nut Loaf helpful for you today. Thank you once again for joining me on Bonita's Kitchen. Please take the time to subscribe to our YouTube channel, which up at the top right hand corner you can just hit the link and it will show you exactly what you need to do. Then each time we post a new video, we will send you a notification letting you know that we have done that. Also visit us on our new website, www.bonitaskitchen.com. So thank you for joining us once again today. From my kitchen to yours, enjoy this Partridgeberry Nut Loaf. Thank you, and you have a wonderful day.